There will be moments in your life when you find yourself walking alone. The phone stays silent. The invitations stop coming. The people you once trusted drift away, or worse, turn against you. And in those moments, it is easy to feel forgotten, abandoned, like you were standing on the outside looking in. But let me tell you something, loneliness is not the end of the road. Sometimes it is the beginning of something greater. A woman with no friends is not weak. She is not broken. She is not lacking. She is a woman in the process of becoming. See, life has a way of stripping away the people who are not meant to go where you are going. You may think it is a punishment, but in reality it is preparation. The silence, the solitude, the time spent alone, it is not a curse, it is a gift. It is in these moments that you learn who you really are, without the noise of others telling you who you should be. The world will try to make you believe that your worth is tied to how many people surround you, how many likes you get, how many invitations you receive. But the truth is, your value is not measured by your social circle, it is measured by your character. A woman who walks alone is a woman who does not need validation. She does not need approval. She does not need a crowd to confirm her greatness. She knows who she is, and that is enough. Do not waste your energy mourning those who left. Do not spend your days trying to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. Instead, use this time to build yourself, work on your dreams, strengthen your mind, focus on your goals. Because when the right people come, and they will not be drawn to you because you begged for their company. They will be drawn to you because you built yourself into someone worth knowing. So if you find yourself walking this path alone, hold your head high. Keep moving forward. Keep growing. Keep believing. Keep becoming. Because a woman with no friends today is a woman who is making room for the right ones tomorrow. Stay strong. Your journey is not over, it is just getting started. Your worth is not defined by the number of people around you. Society has conditioned us to believe that popularity equates to value, that the more friends you have, the more important you are. But this is one of the greatest illusions of life. A person surrounded by many does not necessarily possess more worth than the one who stands alone. A woman who walks her path alone is not weak, nor is she forgotten. She is simply on a journey that others may not yet understand. There is a difference between being alone and being lonely. Being alone is a state of existence. Being lonely is a state of mind. A woman who understands her worth does not fear solitude because she knows that her value does not decrease just because others fail to see it. The truth is, some of the most powerful and successful people in history have walked through seasons of isolation. They were not surrounded by crowds cheering them on. They were not constantly validated by the approval of others. They had to find their own strength, their own belief, their own sense of purpose. And that is exactly what you must do. It is easy to fall into the trap of believing that being alone means something is wrong with you. That maybe if you were different, if you changed yourself, if you molded yourself into something more acceptable, people would want to stay. But that is not how true self-worth works. A woman who constantly seeks external validation will always be a prisoner to the opinions of others. She will bend and shift, trying to fit into places she was never meant to be. She will silence parts of herself just to be accepted. And in doing so, she loses the very thing that makes her unique. Your worth is not measured by how many people want to be around you. It is not determined by the number of messages on your phone, the invitations you receive, or the social circles you are part of. It is determined by your character, your integrity, your purpose. Some of the loneliest people in the world are surrounded by many, yet they feel empty because they lack a true sense of self. And some of the most powerful people have walked alone, yet they have never felt more fulfilled. Think about the times when you were alone, not because you wanted to be, but because life led you there. Maybe friendships faded, relationships ended, people you trusted turned their backs. And in that silence, in that emptiness, there was pain. But if you look closely, you will also see something else: growth. You had to learn to rely on yourself. You had to build yourself up from nothing. You had to push forward without the comfort of others holding your hand. And because of that, you became stronger. A woman who understands her worth does not chase people. She does not beg for company. She does not shrink herself to fit into spaces where she does not belong. Instead, she walks forward with confidence, knowing that her presence alone is enough. She does not need a crowd to affirm her. She does not need constant validation. She knows that the right people, the ones who truly see her, appreciate her, respect her, will come in due time. And when they do, it will not be because she begged for their attention, but because she remained true to herself. Too often, people settle for unhealthy friendships and toxic relationships just to avoid being alone. They tolerate disrespect, they accept less than they deserve, and they compromise their values simply to keep others around. But a woman who knows her worth does not settle. She would rather walk alone than walk with the wrong people. She would rather wait for meaningful connections than force herself into relationships that drain her spirit. Solitude is not something to fear, it is something to embrace. It is in solitude that you truly find yourself. It is in solitude that you hear your own voice without the noise of the world drowning it out. It is in solitude that you develop the strength to stand firm in who you are, regardless of who stays or who leaves. Your worth has never been, and will never be defined by how many people surround you. It is defined by how you see yourself. It is defined by the way you carry yourself, the way you respect yourself, the way you refuse to lower your standards just to be accepted. It is defined by your strength to walk alone when necessary, by your courage to say no to anything that does not align with your values. One day you will look back at the moments of solitude and realize they were not a curse, they were a blessing. They shaped you. They prepared you. They gave you the space to become the woman you were meant to be. And when the right people come into your life, they will not complete you because you were already whole. They will not define your worth because you already knew it. They will simply walk beside you, not because you need them, but because they recognize and respect the strength of a woman who knows she is enough. Loneliness is not a punishment, it is preparation. Too often we see solitude as something to be feared, as if being alone is a sign of failure, rejection, or unworthiness. But what if loneliness was not meant to break you, but to build you? What if the moments where you feel most alone are actually the moments where life is shaping you into the person you are meant to become? Growth rarely happens in the middle of the crowd. It happens in the quiet, in the spaces where distractions fade, and you are left with nothing but yourself. It happens when there is no one there to validate you, no one to tell you what to do, no one to lean on but your own strength. It is in these moments of solitude that you truly discover who you are. Because when you are alone, there is no one left to impress, only yourself to confront. Many people run from loneliness because they believe it means something is wrong with them. They fill every moment with noise, with people, with meaningless distractions, just to avoid sitting with their own thoughts. But a woman who understands that loneliness is preparation does not run from it, she embraces it. She sees it for what it is, a season of refinement, a time to grow, to heal, to build, to prepare for what is next. Think about the strongest people you know, the ones who carry themselves with confidence, the ones who move with purpose, the ones who do not beg for attention or validation. Do you think they became that way by always being surrounded by people? No. They became that way because they spent time alone. They went through seasons where they had no one to lean on but themselves. They walked through fire, through doubt, through silence. And in that silence, they built resilience. They found clarity. They became unshakable. Some of the greatest minds, the strongest leaders, the most successful individuals, what do they all have in common? They spent time alone. They did not rely on constant validation. They did not wait for someone to push them. They took their solitude and used it. They practiced. They failed and tried again. They spent hours perfecting their craft, strengthening their bodies, sharpening their minds. They did not let loneliness make them weak. They turned it into power. And that is exactly what you must do. If you find yourself alone right now, do not waste the opportunity. Do not fill the silence with distractions just to avoid discomfort. Lean into it. Use it. Become the kind of woman who does not need a crowd to feel strong, who does not need applause to know she is doing the right thing. Become the kind of woman who walks into a room alone and still carries power. One day, people will look at you and wonder how you became so strong, so confident, so successful. And they will not know that it was built in the quiet, in the moments when no one was watching, in the hours of solitude where you made the decision to become unstoppable. The right people will come when you are ready. Too often we chase friendships, relationships, and connections believing that we must have them now. We lower our standards, accept less than we deserve, and force relationships that were never meant to be, all because we are afraid of being alone. But the truth is, the right people, those who truly belong in your life, will arrive at the right time. And when they do, you will not have to chase them. They will come because they see your worth, because they recognize your strength, because they align with the person you have become. It is natural to want companionship. Humans are wired for connection, but connection should never come at the cost of your peace, your growth, or your self-respect. If you have to beg someone to stay, if you have to prove your worth to be accepted, then those people were never meant for you. The right ones will see you for who you are and choose to stand beside you, not because you pleaded for their presence, but because they genuinely value and respect you. Think about the friendships and relationships that have fallen apart in your life. At the time, it may have felt like a loss. Maybe you blamed yourself. Maybe you wondered what you could have done differently. But if you look back now with clarity, you might realize that those people were not meant to stay, that their presence in your life was temporary, that their exit created space for something better. Growth often comes with separation. Not everyone is meant to walk the entire journey with you. Some people are only there for a season, to teach you something, to challenge you, to show you what you will and will not accept. And once their purpose in your life is fulfilled, they leave. The waiting can be difficult. It is tempting to settle, to rush into relationships just to fill the silence. But waiting is not a punishment, it is preparation. It is in the waiting that you build yourself. It is in the waiting that you set your standards, that you strengthen your mind, that you learn to enjoy your own company. And when the right people finally come, you will be ready. You will not cling to them out of desperation, because you will already be whole on your own. You will not tolerate mistreatment, because you will know your worth. The right people will come, but only when you have done the work within yourself. If you are still seeking validation, still settling for less than you deserve, still unsure of your own value, then you will attract people who reflect that. But when you step into your power, when you become confident in who you are, when you no longer seek external approval, that is, when you will attract the right ones. The ones who uplift you, who challenge you in the best way, who add to your life rather than take from it. So do not rush the process. Do not force connections that are not meant to be. Focus on yourself. Build yourself. Love yourself. And trust that the right people, the ones who truly belong in your life, will find you when the time is right. And when they do, you will realize why it was worth the wait. Loneliness is not comfortable. It will challenge you. It will make you question yourself. It will push you to face your fears, your insecurities, the parts of yourself you have been avoiding. But that is exactly why it is necessary. Growth does not happen in comfort. Strength is not built in easy times. Diamonds are not formed without pressure. The world will try to convince you that being alone means you are missing something, that you should seek company, even if it is shallow, that you should settle for relationships that do not fulfill you, just so you are not alone. But a woman who is in preparation understands that she would rather walk alone than walk with the wrong people. She knows that forced friendships, empty conversations, and relationships built on insecurity will only drain her energy. She would rather invest in herself, in her growth, in her vision. The moments where you feel most alone are often the moments right before transformation. It is in these seasons that you are being prepared for the next level of your life. Maybe certain people had to leave because they were not meant to go where you are going. Maybe the silence is not rejection, but redirection. Maybe this time alone is exactly what you need to focus, to rebuild, to discover your purpose without outside influence. Do not fight loneliness. Use it. Use it to become stronger, wiser, more disciplined. Use it to set standards for yourself, to become the kind of person you respect, to prepare for the opportunities that are coming your way. Because when the time is right, the right people will come. The right friendships, the right relationships, the right opportunities will find you. And when they do, you will not be desperate for them, because you will have already built a life that is whole on its own. So if you find yourself in a season of loneliness, do not see it as a punishment. See it as preparation. Something greater is coming. And when it does, you will be ready. People who leave are making space for those who truly belong. It may not feel like it in the moment, but every person who walks away, every friend who drifts apart, every relationship that ends, it all happens for a reason. When someone exits your life, it is not always a loss. Sometimes it is a blessing. Sometimes it is the universe making room for something greater, something more aligned with who you are becoming. At first it hurts. You wonder what went wrong. You replay conversations, overanalyze moments, question yourself. Did I say the wrong thing? Did I not do enough? Was I not worth staying for? But let me tell you something. People do not leave your life because you are not enough. They leave because their part in your story is over. They leave because they were not meant to stay for the next chapter. And no matter how much you try to hold on, no matter how much you chase, beg, or try to fix what is broken, some people are simply not meant to go where you are going. Too often we fight to keep people who have already shown us they are not meant to stay. We lower our standards, accept disrespect, ignore red flags just to keep someone around. We think that keeping people in our lives, even if they do not value us, is better than facing the pain of losing them. But the truth is, the longer you hold on to the wrong people, the longer you delay the arrival of the right ones. People will leave, friends will change, relationships will end. It is a part of life. But instead of seeing it as a rejection, see it as protection. See it as life removing what no longer serves you. Because when someone exits your life, they create space. Space for better friendships. Space for healthier relationships. Space for new experiences that align with the person you are becoming. Think about it. How many times have you held on to a relationship that was draining you, simply because you were afraid to be alone? How many times have you ignored the feeling in your gut telling you that a friendship was no longer right for you? How many times have you tried to force something that was falling apart? We do this because we are afraid. Afraid of change. Afraid of uncertainty. Afraid of being left with nothing. But what if the space someone leaves behind is not a void, but an opening? An opportunity for something better? Some people are only meant to be in your life for a season. They come to teach you something, to help you grow, to serve a purpose for a moment in time. And then they leave. Not because you did something wrong, not because you were not worthy, but because their role in your journey has ended. And that is okay. You do not need to fight for people who are not meant to stay. You do not need to convince someone of your worth. The people who are truly meant for you will not have to be chased, persuaded, or begged to remain in your life. They will stay because they want to, because they see you, because they value and respect you. So do not waste your energy mourning those who have left. Do not sit in bitterness, wondering why they walked away. Do not let their departure make you question your worth. Instead, focus on what is ahead. Focus on the people who do stay. Focus on the person you are becoming, on the life you are building, on the space that is now open for new connections, new opportunities, new beginnings. Because when the right people come, you will not have to force them to stay. They will choose you, and they will make you realize why the ones before them had to leave. Use solitude to build yourself. The moments you spend alone are not wasted. They are where your true strength is forged. Too many people fear solitude because they associate it with emptiness, with a lack of connection, with something missing. But solitude is not an absence, it is an opportunity. It is a space where you can focus, grow, and transform without distraction. It is the foundation upon which you build the person you were always meant to be. When you are constantly surrounded by people, it is easy to lose yourself in the noise. Their opinions, their expectations, their judgments, they all shape you. Sometimes in ways that pull you away from who you truly are. But when you are alone, when there is no one to impress, no one to compare yourself to, no one to validate your choices, that is when you meet your true self, and that is when you have the greatest opportunity to grow. Solitude is where self-discipline is built. It is where you learn to rely on yourself, to push yourself forward even when no one is watching. It is where you sharpen your mind, develop your skills, set your goals. It is where you take control of your future. Too many people waste their solitude dwelling on what they lack instead of using it to become better. They sit in self-pity, scrolling through other people's lives, longing for company, instead of realizing that this time alone is a gift. This is the time to work, to study, to build, to reflect, to heal, to become so focused on your growth that by the right people enter your life, you have already built something strong within yourself. Do not waste these moments waiting for others to fill the space. Fill it yourself with learning, with creativity, with discipline, with purpose.